With the second part of The Glory recently being released and it being a show that definitely captured a lot of attention from viewers all around the globe, the ending of part 2 was something that either left what's going to happen in the future up to interpretation, or it set up a story for the third part of the show. With Dong-Eun's revenge arc coming to a close, Yeo-Jeong's revenge could be something that we're set to see get the spotlight and a main focus on. So with that, I thought I'd take a look at all that was out there and give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is The Glory Season 3 Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The release date. So this is the really interesting thing about this show. The first part was released in December of 2022, and the second part was only a 3-month wait, meaning it was released in March 2023, going against all traditional breaks that we usually get. However, it is something that's becoming more and more prominent within shows, as we saw it in Stranger Things Season 4 and also in You Season 4. The creators of The Glory were able to release it so soon after because they shot the entirety of the first season, so both parts in one go. So the splitting up of the two parts was done for a stylistic reason and to complement the story more. With part 3, this wouldn't be the case. This would be a whole separate entity and story that would be getting written, filmed, and developed. Despite the show being a huge success in its short amount of time, there's no official news on if a new part is going to be released. Netflix usually takes around a few weeks to a month to announce whether or not a new season will be coming. This is judged off if there is an appetite for more episodes from the viewers and also the viewing figures across the globe. With a new part needing to be created from scratch and there being no concrete decision on if a new part is going to be greenlit by the platform, taking that into consideration and also the usual release time between seasons, I think it's safe to presume that it would be around a year or a year and a half. This would allow time for the writing, production, post-production, and marketing of it. So I would say that we're most likely going to get a new part towards the end of 2024. The story. In terms of the story, there are a few different directions that I feel as though it could potentially go in. The first would be with it following on directly from the end of part 2. We saw that Kang-Yeo-Chan was still gloating over the fact that Yeo-Jeong was never going to be able to reach him and get his revenge due to the fact that he was behind bars and that he was on the outside. However, we saw that Yeo-Jeong managed to get a job as the doctor within the prison that Kang-Yeo-Chan was being transferred to. This was the start of the plan that Dong-Eun promised to help him with. I feel we could potentially see this new season be focused on Yeo-Jeong getting his revenge. He assisted in the helping of Dong-Eun getting her revenge on Yeon-Jin and everybody else, and now it will be time for her to help him. We also witnessed Dong-Eun recruiting Hyan-Nam as her assistant again right at the end of part 2, which makes me think that this will be something that will be a main focus. Otherwise, I feel as though they could have left her character out of the resolution at the end. With Dong-Eun also working within the prison, it's most likely going to be an easy plan to facilitate as they're both at the location where the revenge will most likely be carried out. I imagine they're going to get the prisoners to do the dirty work, like we saw Yeo-Jeong get one of them to do prior to him being transferred in. We saw that in the closing moments of the final season that Dong-Eun had a tattoo covering over her scars that she got from when she was younger. So I feel as though she's come to terms with what happened, got her revenge, and is ready to move on. I believe we'll also see Dong-Eun and Yeo-Jeong's relationship develop. We saw them taking small steps in the second part, but with them working together, living together, and also openly embracing each other now, I believe we'll delve a little more into their personal lives. But I would say that the main thing that will be the focus will be the revenge that Yeo-Jeong wants to get on his father's murderer. However, I don't know if they will be able to make that the only thing that happens, as I don't see how it would be able to fill 10 episodes. What made the first 2 parts so good was that there were a lot of characters and they were able to flesh out the story by involving them all. With this case of revenge, it's just one person, so unless it's going to be really hard to get to him, they may need to introduce some other elements to the story, which I imagine is something that they've already thought about. One thing that I think would be quite good in the new season would be if they focused on Yeon-Jin in prison. We know that she's there even though she didn't commit the murder of Son Myung-oh, so watching her struggle to navigate her way through the prison system but maybe find out that she isn't responsible for the killing would prove to be an interesting arc to follow. She'll be fighting for her freedom but struggling to be able to do so. There's also a lot that's left unsaid about Dong-Eun and her mother. We know that her mother and her don't get on, and they're not on the best of terms after she dropped her off at the hospital to be sectioned. But there is a past there that we've not necessarily delved that much into. We know that her mother doesn't care about her at all, but why? I'd love to see that relationship get examined more and see how it's impacted her in the present day. If we do see Yeo-Jeong get his revenge, I'd be intrigued to see how he deals with it. He strikes me as somebody who isn't a born killer, so by having somebody's blood on his hands, regardless of the situation, is going to be an interesting thing to happen to him. There are multiple different directions that the show can go in Part 3 when it comes to the story, so it's going to be interesting to see which route they decide to go down. If Yeo-Jeong will get his revenge, and how Dong-Eun and Yeo-Jeong's relationship will develop over the future episodes. The cast. With regards to the cast, I feel as though it's looking as though most of the characters from the first 2 parts will most likely not be returning to reprise their roles. Son Myung-oh was killed, so he won't be returning. Yeon-Jin is in prison, so she most likely won't be returning either, unless they focus on her in prison. Sarah is also in prison for attempted murder. Jae-Jun was killed. Hya-Jeong lost her voice and was unable to speak, so I imagine she went into hiding after doing what Dong-Eun ordered her to do. And then Do-Young went off to live in England with his daughter, so he most probably won't be returning either. So most of the main characters from the previous parts are in situations where we wouldn't be able to get dedicated time with them. However, the characters that will most likely be returning to the show are Dong-Eun, Yeo-Jeong, Hyan-Nam, Yeo-Jeong's mother, Kang-Yeo-Chan, and maybe even Hyan-Nam's daughter, Sana. I believe all of these characters will most probably be returning to the show, because I think they will be the ones that the story and plot for the next part will be focusing on. I also imagine we'll be introduced to a wide array of new characters that will be interfering and also assisting in helping Yeo-Jeong get his revenge. The cast are what made this show so good, so I feel as though the creators will do all that they can to ensure that the cast is as good as what it was in the first 2 parts of the show. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about The Glory Part 3. I'm sure more information will be released as time goes on, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on the lookout. So, there you have it, The Glory Season 3 Everything We Know. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.